Hi AMSA, my name is Delegates and I am your National Secretary. Welcome to the HOD 2012. This is your guide to AMSA's House of Delegates and Resolutions. In this video, we will go over the what, where, and who is the HOD, what the CBIA and PPP are, resolutions, the key players of the HOD, the ins and outs of the HODs, i.e. the committees, and who do I contact with all of the questions. Let's get started. So what is the HOD? Well, the HOD is the House of Delegates, and the House of Delegates is AMSA's official policy-making body. The HOD is truly where AMSA's members take ownership of the association. As AMSA's official policy-making body, the HOD allows representatives or delegates from each local medical chapter to meet once a year at the annual convention to vote on all of AMSA's policies and to elect our national officers. The HOD is open to all members of AMSA to speak. You, AMSA members, debate the issues, make amendments, and the delegates cast the votes to shape AMSA's policies. Most importantly, any member of AMSA has the ability to write and submit resolutions to the HOD. We encourage everyone to submit and debate resolutions, and we'll talk more about resolutions later. Delegates are responsible for representing the views of their chapter or caucus in the HOD. Each chartered medical and international chapter of the association is authorized to send one delegate for the first 250 medical student members, and an additional delegate for every 250 members or majority fraction thereof. The number of chapter members is based on the total membership as registered in the AMSA National Office as of January 1st, 2012. If you are interested in being your chapter's delegate, talk to your AMSA chapter president ASAP, because each chapter president must complete an online delegate certification form by February 26th, 2012. However, any member of your chapter can sit in the HOD and represent your chapter's voice. The official delegates on the form simply serve to tally the number of potential delegates that will be at convention. So make sure your school gets a vote by talking to your chapter president. Again, the deadline for delegate registration for the annual convention is February 26th, 2012. This year's HOD is taking place in Houston, Texas on March 10th, Saturday, 2012. There's a lot of talk about the CBIA and the PPP, but what in the heck are they? Well, the CBIA, or the Constitution, Bylaws, and Internal Affairs, are the documents that define how AMSA works, while the PPP, or the Preamble, Purposes, and Principles, is the document that defines what our beliefs are on a wide range of issues. It was written entirely by members who wrote resolutions that were passed in the HOD. The two websites listed on the video are where you can go to read the current 2011 CBIA and PPP. If you don't like what you see or you want to change something, submit a resolution. So let's talk about resolutions. AMSA's policies and principles are changed only by the HOD. The body, the HOD, is the sole force that determines AMSA's official views on all issues. The BOT, or the Board of Trustees, spends its year implementing policies that have originated in the House. Because the HOD is similar to Congress, AMSA's policies are set when members submit resolutions to the House. Similar to bills in Congress, a resolution is a call for AMSA to endorse a certain principle, change its internal structure, or even eliminate a past policy that is no longer endorsed by AMSA's membership. So how do we go about writing a resolution? Well, first, we have to think of an idea for a change. Any member can write a resolution or create a new policy, change an existing policy, delete an old policy, change the CBIA, or direct the Board of Trustees to take certain actions. Second, you should check the CBIA and the PPP on the current policy, if there even is a policy currently on your issue of interest. Third, you have to write the resolution. There are lots of samples online on the website listed above. The resolution basically has two parts. The preamble explains why the change should be made or why the actions need to be taken. The resolved section is the new policy statement, or specifically what you want AMSA to do. Then you have to submit your resolution to the national office. The deadline for submitting resolutions is January 8th, 2012 by 11:59. No exceptions. This is really important because all resolutions received after that deadline will be considered late and will not be accepted for the 2012 convention. Exceptions to the deadline have to be approved by the BOT and must be of an emergent nature. If you believe that you have a resolution of this nature, you will have to contact our Vice President for Internal Affairs, Liz Wiley, at vpia@amsa.org. Next, resolutions have to be made available to the chapters. All resolutions submitted by the January 8th deadline will be made available online on the AMSA HOD website and an Inspiration Exchange by February 10th, 2012. Next, chapters meet to decide how their delegates will vote. This is one of the most important steps. It's extremely important that chapters meet and discuss resolutions prior to convention. Chapters should arrive at a consensus on each resolution and identify any changes they would like to see. So what happens to a resolution after you write it? Well, as I mentioned before, all of the resolutions that have been submitted will be posted on the AMSA webpage, which is shown above, and will also be posted on Inspiration Exchange by February 10th. Again, it's really important for your chapter to meet before convention so you know how your chapter is going to vote. Again, you'll also have time during convention to meet with your entire region to discuss the resolutions at regional time. At convention, all the resolutions go through the reference committee, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. As you see, there are a lot of key players in the HOD, and we'll go over each and every one of them. To conduct the sessions of the HOD, certain leaders serve specific roles throughout. The Vice President of Internal Affairs serves as the chair of the HOD. All of the delegates will move business through the chair. The National Secretary serves as the Vice Chair of the HOD, and that person tends to the necessary tasks and stands in for the chair at certain times. If the chair is running for national president, a second vice chair who is a member of the Board of Trustees and is not running for a Board of Trustee position will have been appointed prior to the convention. Trustees and other national leaders in AMSA have an ex officio status in the HOD. What that means is that by virtue of their office, these leaders may sit in on the HOD, participate in business, aid delegates, and answer questions, but they don't vote. Then there are the committees. Certain committees are necessary to carry out HOD business in a formal and efficient manner, and we'll go over those in much more detail next. And then, of course, there are the delegates. The delegates represent their chapters or their caucuses, and they are the movers in the HOD. This overview gives kind of a good structural scheme of what you'll see at the House of Delegates and where people are going to be sitting when you enter the HOD. At the head and the center is the chair, the vice chair, the second vice chair, and the reference committee. They all sit in the front of the room. The chair is the person tasked with conducting the HOD and facilitating all of the proceedings. The chair is usually called upon to be a non-participant, but occasionally exercises the right to vote. The vice chair also serves the assembly in various ways in addition to the chair and may replace the chair at necessary times to conduct business. The second vice chair is very similar to the vice chair with its roles and responsibilities. Then there will be several rows of delegates, and these delegates fall into two different categories, official and ex officio delegates. Official delegates have all the privileges of the HOD, including voting, and the ex officio members are present and have all rights aside from the right to vote. Most of them are present by virtue of their office, and which is the technical meaning of ex officio. Then we have the observers. Observers have no rights except if they're granted by the assembly to participate. They're really there just as observers. There's also the two committees that you'll see in the back of the room, the Nominations Committee and the Credentials Committee. We'll talk more about those in more detail next.